Hi, I'm Claire Harris and I'm presenting with my co-organiser Renee Arringer about our event Canberra Women of Science and Art, which was a National Science Week ACT event. The first thing I want to talk about is our motivations for why we ran these activities. And the first thing, Renee and I actually got together, this is our first project together, and we've never worked together really before. So we had different motivations for coming together, but we were both very aligned on why we wanted to run this event. And one of the key things for me is showcasing diversity within science and art, and particularly gender. So, women, men, age, background, all of these diversity things actually matter. Another thing that was really important is talking about science and creativity, and how creativity is actually a huge part of the scientific process. And we actually do ourselves a disservice in society by separating them artificially. Another key motivation was showcasing some of the amazing women that we have in Canberra who are just doing awesome things. I think everybody should know their stories. And we really wanted to, as well, provide a way for people to engage with us. So we didn't want to present just a one-way communication, because people just will switch off that way. And Renee, did you want to add something?
Yeah, so I was super keen on the science art intersection. So I am a science communicator. I did an environmental science degree and an arts degree. And when I was going through high school and in my early uni career, I was told that science and art don't go together. And I was always passionate about art and performing and drama, but I wanted to pursue science. And everything I saw showed me that science and art do go together really well. And so creating an event that showcases that, and especially showing young people that it's something that they can go into, and it's something where their two passions can come together and they can create some incredible change, that was really important to me.
Yeah. So we knew we had this concept and we had some ideas, but we had to think about how we were going to deliver that. So there were a few ingredients, really, and we knew that we needed to engage and inspire our audiences. We knew that we wanted to challenge stereotypes. And as Renee has said, we wanted to show the alternative career pathways. And we wanted to make sure that anything that we did, any engagement that we had, was not just, as I said, one way, but we provided really tangible next steps for people to get involved. So we went about and looked at fulfilling the key needs really around this event. And one of the things, the most important probably, is the engaging speakers. So here are their faces here on the screen. They're all awesome. We also spent a lot of time and energy designing the look and the feel and the brand, and how we wanted people to kind of be interested in our event. And so we worked with a really great graphic designer, one of Renee's friends, Jess, and she helped with a lot of the design. And we knew we needed interaction between the audiences, so we set it up in that way, and we really needed great online platforms. So yeah, this National Science Week was unlike any other in that it was all online. There wasn't any face-to-face, so that really changed the way that we constructed the event.
Cool. So we had all of those ideas. We had a few target audiences that we wanted to be involved in our event. So we wanted to target families, we wanted to target kids and youth, and we wanted to target disadvantaged youth. And to do this, we spoke to some partners. So we had Careers with STEM, who helped us, get the word out. Careers in STEM have a great magazine, a great website, an online portal, and they also have an e-newsletter. And we partnered with Vinnie's to target disadvantaged youth, and Vinnie's gave us some really practical advice about how to get disadvantaged youth involved in the programs and involved in our event. And we also partnered with Libraries ACT to target families, and you can see here that Libraries ACT have some really awesome things already, like people can hire out robot kits and that kind of thing. So they were an awesome partnership to have for us to target those audiences. So in the end, we came up with these 3 separate events, I guess, or 3 separate segments of our event. So we had the 2 webinars. We split it up into a family-focused webinar and a teen-focused webinar, and we split our speakers across those 2. We had our activity and resources kit. This was a really important part of our event. When we'd spoken to Vinnies, they'd told us that disadvantaged youth probably don't have access to reliable internet or the kind of technology to attend our live webinars. So we provided this activity and resources kit, we printed it out and we distributed that through Vinnies. So that was getting directly to that target audience. And we also had a competition. So like Claire was saying before, we wanted those next steps. We wanted people to, yes, be inspired and to love the speakers that we were showcasing, and we wanted them to do something after that. So the competition was a way for people to create an artistic interpretation, whether that be inspired by our webinars or whether it was something they created with our kit. They could take a photo of that and submit it to us. We created an online gallery of all those submissions, and that's still up on the website. And we also awarded some prizes. And then, as well as all of those things, we had our online engagement. So we created this online ecosystem where we were engaging with our audiences, our partners, and our speakers.
Yeah, and we need to talk about collaboration, because Renee and I spent hardly any time face to face, even though we're both in Canberra. So we were actually working a lot online. We were using all of the Google tools. We used Trello and we used Facebook Messenger a lot just to chat, particularly while running the webinars. And then we also had our whole ecosystem. Next slide, Renee. We also had our whole ecosystem of audience engagement. And so this is just to make the point that with online engagement, you really need to have a whole raft of tools to help you kind of do a good job and support what you're doing. So Facebook was our key social media tool because we knew that's where families would be and we could hook into a whole heap of different groups and things like that. So we were pretty impressed that we, had this really great platform. Within 2 months, we'd engaged with over 12,000 people. So yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. And we had some awesome speakers that came along the ride with us. So we had these real women who were Canberra locals, and they told us their story. So they were super passionate. They knew their stuff. They were all from like different areas, working within science and art. And it was a great way to connect with our audience. Automatically, everybody was inspired. Everybody wanted to hear what these speakers were saying. We created a lot of interactivity with the webinars as well. So we actually got the speakers to have a lot of input in the activities that they were running, and we wanted them to have ownership over those activities. So we had lots of different activities. People could get engaged during the webinars, after the webinars. We also put recordings of those webinars up so that people could access it later as well. So what are the impacts? I think the best way to know is to look at the feedback that we've been receiving. So we have had some awesome feedback about the event in general. Just a few here. It made the concepts in science and art more inclusive for all people, made me feel the connections between science and art more. And my favorite one, I felt that I was supporting my daughter to know that the sky is the limit. And for us, that was exactly what we wanted this event to do. Yeah.
So we are still working through a lot of the evaluation, but we will provide within the handouts here some of the extra quotes from the evaluation, so you can read about that. But this is basically our final slide, just wanting to share our key learnings. And so for me, having a key kind of overarching aim of what you are trying to achieve and what's the kind of values that underpin what you're doing is really important, because then you can go into the design of an event sort of open-minded and create it as it needs to be created. And so that goes into the other bullet point here about partnerships and co-design. We were super open with our partners and with engaging with our audiences before the event to actually ask them questions. What would you like to do? How long would you sit online for? What time of day is best for you? All of that sort of thing. And I think the like the technology and the listening aspect was actually really important, because without that input from Vinnie's, for example, we would have done a different thing with the kit. We might not have put as much effort into that and really tried to distribute that. So I think that was kind of key, some of the key things for me. What about you, Renee?
Yeah, I agree. I think the co-design for me was a big learning that I've taken away, to include your partners and your speakers and everyone involved in the event from the beginning, so that when you are designing it, it's that collaborative, you're getting input from all people involved, and it just ends up being a better overall event for everybody.
Yeah, I think the other thing about the diversity as well, and sort of, you know, we had target audiences, but what was the age range? I think you said before was like from 4 years old or something to 70 plus.
Yep.
People actually attended the events, and so you know, you never know who's going to talk to someone else or share something on your behalf. So it's always, you know, I think a great approach to kind of be open, and you know, you just don't know what's going to happen, but it's a really good approach to just kind of see who comes out of the woodwork and who's attracted and gets something out of it. And that's the thing with the feedback as well. People got lots of different things out of it too, and that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. And I think having the diversity in our speakers encourage diversity in our participants also.
Yeah. Yeah, and providing people with those next steps as well was really important. So they could get involved with the competition, they could look at the webinars afterwards. And, you know, in the activity kit, there's a whole heap of resources. So if they decide that they want to look at studying in STEM or STEAM, we've got some links, for example, to scholarships and other, you know, internships and things like that. So I think that's, yeah, we wanted to kind of create something that had a bit of a legacy.
Yeah, and accessibility as well. I think, you know, people are able to either download the kit online or print it off. We've got the scholarships in the back that they can look at if they're the disadvantaged youth, or there's colouring pages for young kids, activities for older kids. Yeah, we try to cover all bases.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So here's a couple of links just to finish off. And of course, you can find out more about us and connect through the website and the app. So thank you very much.
Thank you.